Progapalooza is a festival that's been put together by some local Dallas tribute bands, hoping to get those progressive fans into the door to give them a dose of albums by Yes, Rush, Led Zeppelin, and now we're going to be talking with Schizoid Men. I got three of the Schizoid Men here. We're going to be discussing a tribute to King Crimson. So let's start with John. We had John here last week with Close to the Yes, and he was telling us a little bit of how the whole idea of his band came together. John, how did the idea of Schizoid Men come together?
I think you want to talk to Rick on that one.
Okay. Rick, John has handed you the microphone.
Yeah.
How did this idea for Schizoid Men come
Well,
up?
I'd been trying to do something for quite a while with put some kind of a King Crimson tribute together, and I'd known Kelsey for a long time, and we've been talking about trying to put it together, and then I met John over at the benefit show that we had for David Gallegos.
Okay.
And,
Oh, so is that where you met at the Maverick?
that's where I met John. Yeah, that was the first time I met him. We didn't talk anything about a King Crimson band or anything, but we just met and talked a little about, it'd be cool to get together sometime and jam or whatever. And so I'd been trying to work it out, get a band together, but it never really, we couldn't find the right players. And then John called me one time or messaged me one time and asked if I'd be interested in doing King Crimson. And he had already talked to Kelsey actually before that.
Mhm.
So I was like, sure, jumped on it. And from then we started going, the three of us. And then it was a search for a guitar player after that.
All right.
Mhm.
So the guitar player is Chris. Rick, you're playing Chapman stick and bass, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. John is doing the drums. And what is Kelsey's role? Kelsey's not able to join us tonight, but what is Kelsey's role in the band?
He's doing keyboards, vocals, violin, and backing guitar.
Okay. So are you guys reproducing a particular era of the Crimson band by being a
Not
four-piece?
really. Most of the material that's focused on is the 70s stuff with Bill Bruford and John Wetton, but we do a little bit of the first album, and we do some of the 80s material, some of the Adrian Belew, Tony Levin material. And that's where I get
Okay.
to play the Chapman stick is with the 80s material. So
I see. Well, you talk about Tony Levin, and I remember that wonderful show that you gave me the
yeah.
opportunity to watch when they were in town. So, John, Rick just told us about how the band got started, but tell us, how did you say yes to something like King Crimson? Not only were you already in one band, but King Crimson is kind of like a mighty task.
Um, Bill Bruford, Bill Bruford, Bill Bruford.
Okay.
Enough said. What's that?
Is that the drummer for King Crimson?
It is. I mean, he joined King Crimson right after he left. Yes. Ironically, after he left, yes, with the Close to the Edge album was his last album, that monumental progressive juggernaut of an album, and joined a juggernaut of a band, the King Crimson. I mean, come on, how can you not want to do that, right? He's done so much for the drumming community just being in King Crimson. He took it to another level completely. So, you
Okay.
definitely wanna, work your way into doing a little bit of that. Hopefully, we could do a little bit of it, and pay homage to such a great drummer and band.
So,
Yes.
for how long have you been a King Crimson fan, John?
Well, you know what? I've been a prog fan since, I was probably around 10 years old, 9 years old, right around there when I first saw my first show. Seeing Yes for the first time in my life. Got into prog because my brothers were huge prog fans. Shout out to my brother Joe. He plays the bass, and he got me into Yes and King Crimson and Kansas and Rush, and you name it, So got into listening to the very first album, right? And I got hooked from that point forward.
Okay, now Rick, you have talked to me about King Crimson for a couple of years by now. Actually, it was you who got me interested into listening to the band. But what's your story with the band? How did you develop your love for them? A lot of people in Dallas know you for playing with Osmosis, with Walk in the Shadows, and I especially have seen you at least a couple dozen times with the Zeppelin project that will also be at this show. But where does your love for King Crimson come from?
Very, very young, probably about 13, 14 years old. I was a Jimi Hendrix fan and a Zeppelin fan, and one day I was watching MTV Closet Classics, and there was a band on there called King Crimson, and they blew my mind when I saw what they were doing. It was Lark's Tongues and Aspic Part 1 is what they were doing, instrumental, prog rock. And I was hooked from that moment on. After I heard that, I tried to seek out all the records I could. I'd go to record conventions and find bootlegs and just got everything I could get my hands on from King Crimson. And I was already playing bass at that time, so I just tried to learn everything I could. And then when I discovered the 80s King Crimson and I saw some footage with Tony Levin playing a Chapman stick, I had to get an instrument like that and play it. And so I did, and I started learning it. But after I saw King Crimson, to me, that was the height of music at that time for my age. And I just wanted to learn that material. It was harder than anything I'd ever learned to play. So I'd lock myself in the room for hours at a time and just work on different pieces of music.
Okay,
And that's how it started.
go ahead.
That's how
Okay.
it started.
So you've been a fan of this band for a long time, but have you ever had the opportunity to perform their songs on concert?
Yeah. When I was younger, late teens, early 20s, I played in various bands. And there was one band I was in called Terra Firma at the time. And we would do a lot of original music, but we would do cover songs sometimes too. And we ended up doing several shows that was just a night of King Crimson. And we'd play all King Crimson. We did the whole Lark's Tongues and Aspic album from start to finish, and we did most of Red. And so every once in a while we'd play a night like that of just King Crimson music, and it was fun. I loved it. And then later I joined another band, and we would throw in some King Crimson material too. So yeah, I had the opportunity to play a lot of this music in the past, and it was a long time ago, and I really miss playing it. That's why now that I'm a little bit older, I wanted to revisit some of it and play it again, because it's such fun, rewarding music to play. When you play a song all the way through like that and you do it well, it's very rewarding to know that you can do it.
Okay, well, I've been holding back on asking Chris, and that's been on purpose because he did reveal his secret about his relationship with King Crimson before we went online. So, Chris, the secrets out of the box. Tell us, how did you learn about the music of King Crimson, and how did that impact your decision to join Schizoid Man?
I learned about it through John asking me to join the band. And so I just said yes. And then I went into it, listening to it, and was like, all right, this is out of my element. So I just started studying it up and listening to it on repeat. And it was a lot of fun and very challenging. So I tried to do the songs justice, and hopefully I accomplished that.
Well, let me ask this, because if you're handling the guitar duties for a tribute to a band like King Crimson is kind of like a cult band. It's got a unique following, a following comprised not only of prog rock fans but musicians. So those are the people that are usually in the first row looking like this and wondering, is he gonna get it right or not? If
Yeah.
you're discovering the music of King Crimson with these guys, you must feel pretty confident about your guitar skills, and not only confident but determined to make it work, because these guys are also serious musicians that people know that they tackle, complicated projects. Where do you get the drive to play music like this? And tell us more about your guitar background.
I just love to play music, and I am very confident in my abilities to do this show. I've spent a lot of time making sure that it's going to please everybody, and at the same time trying to put a little bit of my flair on it as well. I've been playing guitar for about 20 years, and I grew up on a rock and metal background. I started studying Randy Rhoads. That's how I got into it. So a lot of classical, a lot of rock and roll, metal, a lot of different styles. So this was just one more style and approach that I needed to do. So it was a lot of fun. And yeah,
Now,
I'm good.
no, please continue.
I was just gonna say I'm excited. It's good musicians, everybody that's on the stage with us, and there's a lot of good bands out there. So I'm excited to see what the people think in the
Okay.
audience.
Now, I've been to at least a couple of hundred tribute band shows in the last few years, and I have not seen you on stage before. Why is that?
I am brand new to Texas, pretty much. I moved here
Hmm.
in March, so
March, you mean 5 months ago, 6 months? I know, 4 months ago.
yep,
Okay, so you have not even been rehearsing with these guys for 4 months.
We've
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
had like
Okay.
6 or 7 rehearsals.
I think,
Oh,
yeah, I think I was here a couple weeks before John reached out to me. So
okay. That was
And
great.
yeah,
So you landed on both feet. John, how do you get a hold of Chris? How do you find a hidden gem for joining your band?
I'm not gonna tell people my secrets.
Okay.
Come on, come on now. But you know what? I'm gonna say it the way it is. We're very fortunate to have found Chris. He's an extremely talented guitar player, and I'm not saying it because he's in the band. You know, he is a talented player. Um, you know, we tell him almost every practice because we're in awe to hear how well he has, you know, picked up the feel of King Crimson, which is not an easy task, not an easy task at all to tackle Robert Fripp and, you know, a little bit of, you know, Blue. I mean, he's doing an amazing job in the, you know, his own project. You know, heard a couple songs of that stuff, and watch out, guys. You know, he's definitely someone to look out for out there in the music scene. But you know, he's definitely amazing to work with, and you know, a pro.
Okay. All
thank you.
right. So when you say that the band is ready to make their debut, tell us a little bit about this show. We know already that the Zeppelin project, of which Rick is a part of, is going to be performing the whole Houses of the Holy album. The Rush tribute band, Clockwork Angels, is going to be performing the Moving Pictures album in its entirety. And Close to the Yes, the tribute band of which you are also part of, will perform Close to the Edge. What can we expect of King Crimson? Are we going to hear songs from a specific era, from a specific album, some favorites, or are you going to tackle, let's say, one full side from an album?
so,
Um,
go ahead,
Rick,
John.
go ahead. No, go for it, Rick.
All right, yeah, most of a lot of the material, a good chunk of the material is from the 3 albums from the '70s: Lark's Tongues and Aspic, Starless, and Bible Black and Red albums. Um, so that was the main focus. So we're going to be playing probably about, I'd say, 60-70% of that material, and then we're doing a song from their first album, and then we're doing about 3 pieces from the Discipline album from the '80s. So
So
it's
you're going
that
to be
kind.
playing over 1 hour of music.
Yeah, probably about maybe an hour and 20 minutes or something like that.
Yep.
Okay. Well, it's hard to tell who is the bigger fan of King Crimson, but if you are a King Crimson fan, what couple of songs would you expect the band to play? Um, and for King Crimson fans out there, what couple of songs that they would expect to play can we let them know that you will for sure play? I'm going to start with John. Which couple of songs would King Crimson fans want to hear that you can guarantee they will hear at this show?
Well, I think everybody would want to hear 21st Century, you know, for sure. Um, I would say Elephant Talk would be, you know, one that they
Yeah.
would love to hear, and I would love to hear.
Yeah.
I love that song.
And you're
Oh
telling us those
man,
songs will perform, right?
what's that?
And you're telling us those songs will be performed this weekend.
If they show up Saturday, they'll get to hear those songs.
Exactly, exactly. I'll
Yep.
let them come find out on their own, you know. And
Okay.
one other one, the third one that I would say anybody would love to hear. Oh, and gee, Lark's Tongue and Aspect 2. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of people love these 3 songs, you know, so for sure.
What about you, Rick? You want to share another song just to get people excited? Those that may be on the fence about coming to listen
We're
to a
going to
new
give
band.
away
in
our
New
whole
Orleans?
set list, aren't we? The only
Well,
other one I would say that people really would be, or some people would be more familiar with, is going to be Red. The song
Okay.
Red. That's
And that's going to be
one of their
performed.
better known songs.
Okay.
But they will get to see some Chapman Stick played on some of that material. They'll get to hear some Mellotron on that material, and they'll get to hear plenty of violin on some of this material. So
Oh
So,
yeah.
since you mentioned the
Yeah.
Chapman Stick, do us a favor, like a music fan that has loved rock for about, I mean, if I say started loving rock music at age 10, I love rock for at least 40 years. But it was not until I met you that I discovered what the Chapman Stick was. So let's give credit to those people that may not be familiar with the Chapman Stick. Would you mind showing us one, Rick?
sure, I'll show you my stick.
Okay, there it
This
is.
is this is the newest stick that I've recently got.
Now
This
let
will
me
be
let
the
me
one
play
that I'm
devil's
playing.
advocate here. It looks like an 18-string guitar to me with a very very thick neck. Tell us what a Chapman Stick is and what's so special about it.
So this model is a 10 string, and it's basically 5 strings are a bass section. These 5 strings here, these 5 strings here are a guitar section. So you'd run it into 2 separate amplifiers, and the instrument is not plucked. You don't pluck it, you don't pick it, you tap it. So you would use your fingers to tap whatever you're going to play on here. So it allows you to use both hands to create notes as opposed to one hand fretting and the other hand picking. So it
So
opens
it
up
is
a lot
almost
more
like a
possibilities.
percussive way to play it. Almost.
Yeah, it's slightly percussive. There's a lot of the tapping. You can get a good percussive sound to it. So you know the drum and stick relationship is really very close because it's semi percussive.
And you said this is your brand new Chapman Stick. Does it mean that you
Yeah,
have several?
this is the newest. Yeah, I have several, and this is the newest one. I got it about maybe a year ago or a little bit less. And
Let me ask you this because you talked to me about sometimes it's hard to get them. You have to pre-order. Do you have to order it a long time before it arrives?
oh yeah. This took about two years to get this one from the time I ordered it.
So they're custom made. This is unique to you.
Yeah, they're custom. They're made when you order it, and it's not like you could just buy one off the shelf. They're
Oh.
hard to find, so
Dang it!
you're lucky if you can find a used one.
I was gonna go for one myself, but now you told me I can't.
Order it now if you want it in 2028.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Chris, again, I don't want to just be blowing smoke up yours, but obviously, for you to diving into this band and be ready to play with somebody who's going to be playing Chapman Stick, you must know your craft. And also, people that are ready to listen to King Crimson and know about King Crimson know about music. Talk to us in musician terms. What was the challenge for you as somebody who was not familiar with the band, all of a sudden having to incorporate your guitar player into a band that has a Chapman Stick, for example? Are there any particular thoughts that went through your mind as you joined the first rehearsals?
Yeah, a lot of the time signatures was a bit of a challenge. There's some very odd time signatures. Some of the instruments are playing different stuff, but when it's synced up, it all works out. So that was definitely a challenge for me.
So this is seems like it's been one of the most complex music that you've been part of so far.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And
Now-
music is pretty complex in itself, but this has definitely been a very different world for me.
So you moved to Texas a few months ago. I assume that there's not going to be many of your friends in the area that could come to the show. So talk to us about guitar players or guitar music fans. For those fans of rock that are still on the fence about coming to watch you, because you guys are also coming first in the lineup, and I'm going to go to John to tell us about the schedule of events. But what would you say to those fans of guitar-based rock music and guitar players that they could come and expect from watching your band play Schizoid Men, the tribute to King Crimson?
That's a good question. And yeah, if you like guitar music and stuff, then this is going to be the show for you because the music is awesome. There's some improv that is done, and every solo kind of takes you on a journey, especially the improv. And I've got a couple cool little guitars that I'm going to bring out so it'll also be visually appealing as well. Um, so yeah, if you want to come out and kind of get lost in an amazing vibe of music, this is the show to check out. I'm telling you.
You're getting us excited about it, so please tell us a little bit more. What do you mean by guitars that are visually exciting?
So I've got a double neck guitar that I'm going to be playing, and you really don't see those live very much, but I will be using one of those. I've got
Is it an 18 string or a 12 string?
there's a 12 string and a 6 string on the bottom neck.
Okay, so it's an
So
18 string double neck.
18 string double neck, and I'll be using all 18.
Wow, nice. So, John, I know that King Crimson is going to be the first in a lineup of 4 bands. This is called Progapalooza for a reason. Um, if we want to watch King Crimson, what time should we be there? Talk to us about doors. What time do they open, and what time are you
So-
expected to go on stage?
So we're gonna have the doors open at 4. For time to mingle and have some drinkies and get settled and that kind of thing. Then you're gonna have Shitsoy Man coming in around 5ish, right on the dot. And then we're gonna get into Clockwork Angel around 5:15ish, 5:30ish, right around there. Close to the Yes, 8:15, and Zeppelin around 9:45.
So you said Schizoid Man begins playing at 5.
Right.
Okay, so Clockwork Angels will be more like 6:30 or something like that.
6:30, 6:45, right.
Okay, so if we want to watch King Crimson's tribute Schizoid Man, meaning you guys, one has to be there by 5 o'clock.
Yes.
Okay,
So
where is this again, John? We're gonna be putting
This
a
is
link
gonna
to
be-
the event, but go ahead and tell us where is it gonna be and when.
Okay, it's going to be at the Deep Ellum Art Company. Great place. We've talked about it before. It's got great sound, great lights, amazing crew. There's a lot of live and national bands that come through that place. It's a wonderful place to come and see a show. There's a lot of great restaurants around the area as well. It's very safe as well. The police station is right down the street, literally.
That's true.
There's good parking, kitty corner to the venue, which is literally 2 minutes away. So I think it's a great venue to have this type of situation and all these bands. I hope everybody can make it out. It's going to be a great show.
Okay, so Rick, how long has it been since you last played King Crimson songs on stage?
Well, I will say that it's been 2 years since I played Red on stage with Herd of Instinct at the benefit show that I met John at.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's why you guys.
That's the
connected.
only one. Before that, it's been probably 15, 20 years, probably.
Okay, so you're definitely excited about this show.
Yeah, yes, definitely.
15 years not playing this music live. Chris, first time ever playing this music live.
Yep.
But ready to rock. And John,
Determined and ready to make a name.
great,
That's right.
great. So when can we hear? Where can we learn more information about the band Schizoid Man? Do you have social set up yet? Is there a Facebook page, or have you been too
We
busy
do.
rehearsing us to create that?
No, we do have a page on Facebook. We're slowly growing our fandom, and following. So like anything, from the ground up. But yeah, we do have a Facebook page, Shitsoy
What's the
Man,
name?
of course, Shitsoy Man,
Okay.
on Facebook. So come and visit us, follow us. We got more things coming down the year, and
John,
hopefully
I
beyond.
have been pronouncing the name Schizoid Man, but you just said Schizoid Man. So how is it?
Shitsoy Man.
Schizoid Man. Rick, what does that mean? Why that name for the band?
To me, it's
Well,
always
it's,
been
very-
schizoid, man. Schizophrenic, but you guys call
Yeah,
it how-
schizophrenic, right?
Okay.
So it's really has everything to do with the first album in 21st Century. right? Schizoid Man.
21st
So
Century
it's
Schizoid Man is the
right. That comes
opening
from
song
there.
on their first album.
Okay.
Right.
And just to finish, Rick, how many instruments are you going to be playing throughout the show for Schizoid Men in total?
I'll be playing 3 instruments. I'll be playing a Chapman stick, a Fender Precision bass, and a Federa bass.
Okay.
I'll be using some funk fingers on the Federa bass, so we'll see how that goes.
All
A
right.
little bit more percussion on that.
And for people familiar with you, they can also expect to see you as the fourth man performing the music of Led Zeppelin in the wonderful The Zeppelin Project, correct?
Yes, yeah, we'll be doing the whole House of the Holy album for that show.
The whole Houses of the Holy album. John, after you played with Schizoid Man, you're going to take a break, let Clockwork Angels take the stage, and then you're going to do what?
Then I'm gonna enjoy the whole show. No, no, I'll be playing with Close to the Edge, doing Close to the Edge, and some other wonderful songs that are just as complex with Yes.
Okay. So, Chris, it seems like you're going to be the one not pulling off double duty that night. So, after you perform the music of King Crimson, you can walk up stage, begin to mingle, and get to know Dallas folk.
Chris gets to drink after he gets done.
I know.
Yeah. Hopefully, I can talk to everybody and do some networking and stuff like that. That'd be awesome. So, yep, I'll be out there cheering on the other bands and enjoying a great concert.
What state did you move in from, Chris?
I came from New Mexico.
Okay. And did you come here to Dallas specifically looking for the music scene or for part of your musical career?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot more opportunity here than over there.
Okay. So, for people that want to meet you, they are welcome to come and introduce themselves after the show and get to know you. Tell us a little bit about other bands that you played recently with. Have you played in other tribute bands before?
No, actually. Every band I've been in has been all original. So this is the first tribute band I've been in.
Okay. Now, I'm assuming that those originals you're no longer part of because you've been moved out of the state where you were in. But give us a little bit of a reference. What kind of musical style did those bands have?
The biggest band that I was in was the Spectralights, which was a mix between Queen, Led Zeppelin, and Van Halen.
Oh,
And
wow.
that was actually a really fun band. A lot of very talented people in that band as well. And we went really far with that, so that was a lot of fun. And I miss that band and those people, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah,
And so
absolutely.
now I want to do something with Texas.
Well, we're glad you're here. We're glad that you've joined this couple of guys that have been passionate about progressive music for a while. Again, it was through Rick that I first learned about a Chapman stick, and then he also introduced me to would you say the twin sibling, Rick, the war guitar, and
Yep.
those were instruments that I had never even heard the name of, much less sing in concert, and much less even had a chance to touch with my own hands. John, thank you for being the driving force behind Progapalooza, for getting all these four bands together to perform on one stage. And for one last time before we close and say goodbye to people, when, where, and now mention the cost of the tickets, because I know that's a section already sold out for this show, right?
Right. All the tables are sold out. There's general admission, $20. $5 a band. You can't go wrong. So Deep Ellum Art Company. Open doors at 4. We'll see you there. Let's come and say hello. We'll come and say hello to you guys.
Okay, Saturday the 30th. If you want to catch King Crimson tribute, Schizoid Men, they go first at 5 p.m. at Deep Ellum Art Company. John Perez, Rick Reed, and Chris, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you at the show.
Thank you, Wilbur.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Thank you, Wilbur. Bye.
Okay, guys, I've stopped the live streaming.